Alright, I'm doing a drawing, and I'm also talking at the same time. Normally for these videos I'll speed it up, put some music over it, or I'll talk in my editing software after I record all this, but I am gonna be wild and crazy and talk while drawing simultaneously, both at the same time. This is pretty hard. I find drawing to be really easy. It feels kind of like just daydreaming. Whoops. So it feels like it's the lazy part of my brain likes it. Even though I know it's not lazy, it requires a lot of concentration. It's that's how I get my flow states through drawing. But talking is more stressful, and talking while drawing is an interesting experiment. It's definitely I have to think about where the lines are going and also what I'm saying. So, anyways, I drank one beer, so sorry if I'm being all wild and crazy right now. Actually, I'm really tired. And that's why I'm making a video, because I keep coming up with excuses. Like, I'm too tired to do a video, or it's been about 2 months since I've made a video because I've been working on animation. But this year I really want to try to crack down and consistently release content. So if you guys have any suggestions, like any ideas for animation tutorials or future drawings, really anything, I am all ears, because my brain is fried from drawing animation all the time. What I'm doing right now is just some kind of pencil-y stuff. Well, obviously, because you're watching the video, but this is just like the rough drawing. I'm going to go over this in pens, and then probably make a future video coloring this stuff with my Copic markers. But if you go over stuff just with pencils, that's where I make most of the proportional mistakes. So it's much more forgiving to make mistakes with a pencil line than it is with a pen, because ink is kind of permanent. So what I'm doing right now is really just making some abstract shapes, and then normally I'll see like faces in it or other geometric or organic things that just naturally evolve out of random lines and things like that. It's really easy to draw, even if you think you can't draw. If you can write your name, you can draw, because that is drawing. You're making lines to create letters. And drawing's really no different. It's just a bunch of nonsense letters that don't mean anything until they do mean something. And that's what I'm working on right now, is creating meaning out of the meaningless lines. Again, the rough pencil drawings, is where you establish proportions and shapes and where the stuff will go. I used to always make the mistake of starting with a ton of details at the very beginning. If you start with a ton of details in one little corner, then the rest of the page is dependent upon fitting in with whatever little bit of detail you put in. So it restricts your creativity to add too much detail at the beginning. I'm trying to think of something interesting to talk about. Again, I suck at multitasking, but the more you do something, the better you may become at it. I guess I could talk about some movies I watched recently. Watched Django Unchained last night. Well, actually, over like a 4-night period. It takes me a while to finish movies. That's a good one. I really liked it, especially up until the German guy got killed by Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo DiCaprio. I thought that was really out of character because the German dude was super, smart and didn't give in to his impulses, and it just seemed like he just turned into a plot device to, start the whole chain of events that led Django to the bloodbath of killing everyone. And that, yeah, like the final third of the movie was super violent, and it feels like that's kind of a thing with Quentin Tarantino, is he really dwells on vengeance and revenge, but it doesn't feel too sadistic because he adds in a lot of humor, but still it just feels kind of like, I don't know, too many movies are just all about revenge, and just, I don't know, the real world, it's normally not so black and white. Like, most people are both heroes and villains. Sorry if you can hear me eating. I kind of think this picture needs a character, because, I don't know. Right now it's just like a mess of blobs, and maybe I'll put, something like a little monk guy flying through the air. Need some kind of motion. Something to suggest movement. These little jelly bean things flying through. The music video I'm working on right now takes place under sea, and it's a bunch of trippy, weird sea creature stuff. So this is all like muscle memory, kind of. I'm just drawing these little seaweedy, squiddy things because that's what I've been drawing all the time. I'm not even thinking right now. All my thinking is going towards trying to say words. Talking is hard, especially to girls sometimes, just because, I don't know, it just is. Unless I know them. Like, if they're my friends, then it's no big deal. But actually, just strangers in general, people always make assumptions about you. First impressions. I hate first impressions. I try not to ever trust my first impressions. Most people's first impressions of me are totally inaccurate. Everyone thinks I smoke weed, but I don't. Alright. I almost think I should just go balls to the wall and start drawing with pen, because I'm being really kind of timid in a way, even though I'm not overthinking what I'm doing, but I'm just self-conscious because this camera is recording me, and I know in the future there will be brains listening to and watching this video. Actually, the future is your present. I'm in the past for you. Alright, just gonna start not adding pins yet. I really like cell shading, the cell shaded look. I've been trying to do that on my program. I use TV Paint, so I draw in layers. Like first is the lines, which is what I'm doing now. Then I'll just add in color, like flat colors in the object, and then on another layer add in the shadows, which I'll just draw and then fill in with whatever color it is, and put the opacity down to like 50%, so the darkness blends in with the main color here. And then I'll add in the highlights, so it's like 3 layers of coloring on top of the lines. I don't know, it's just a timeless look, never gets old. That's why 2D games, not that 2D games use cell shading or any specifically, but I mean the 2D look ages much more gracefully than CGI, because the technology for 3D animation is constantly evolving, so it's constantly getting dated, whereas cell animation, or just really just drawing on paper, you can't improve upon this technology. This is all it is. So it just doesn't get dated the same way 3D stuff does. Well, alright. What do you guys think? Should I make videos like this? Like just kind of like vlogs, but drawing vlogs? This is fairly simple to do. Maybe I should just start documenting things that I do, like animation and stuff. A lot of people seem interested in the process for that, but since animation does require so much concentration, I can't really document it in the way I am now, which is right now it's a much more laid back sort of thing, even though talking isn't turning out so well. Well, maybe I should give myself more credit. Some people see, now I'm not even thinking about what I'm saying until now, and now I'm starting to second guess what I'm saying. But a lot of people have said I'm easy to talk to because I listen. But when I get nervous, I either talk way too much or not at all. It's really weird. Alright, I'm gonna go in with pen, then wrap this video up, and the next one we'll do some coloring. I haven't used these hardly at all. Only other time I used this was when I was drawing that Boo, all those Boos. That video with Boo from Super Mario World. I was using the Copic markers, so I'm not really sure what these sizes are and all that nonsense. Alright. This part requires much less critical thinking than planning where all the shapes will go, because it's essentially just tracing. So all the heavy lifting is done. Now I'm just doing busy work. This is sort of my favorite part of animation too, because I can just put on some YouTube videos and listen to smart people talk, so I can feel like I'm not getting any dumber. Again, drawing feels like it pleases the lazy part of my brain, even though I know that's not true. It's just sort of like an autopilot mode, like driving. You know, you're kind of paying attention to the road, but you're also kind of not, in the sense that, well, it's easy to daydream. have a feeling this is going to end up looking like the mutation scene on Akira, where Tetsuo is losing control of his psychic powers, and Akira breaks out of those little containers, and his power fuses with Tetsuo, and then Neo Tokyo is destroyed. It's a great animated movie. I have quite a few problems with it, though, just after reading the manga, which is far better in terms of story. But obviously animation accomplishes things a comic book never could, such as movement, music, which the soundtrack for Akira is just as iconic as the animation. So it's really not fair to compare the two. They both accomplish different things. But if you have had any interest whatsoever in the film, you should definitely read the manga because it goes into so much more detail. Many of the characters only made cameos in the film or weren't there at all, or they were completely changed, like Lady Miyoko. She, in the comic book, is a super wise, powerful psychic who, in the film, is turned into just a religious nut who dies in like 2 seconds on a bridge and squeals out to her followers to save her. Which, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was weird. Forgot what I was talking about. I'd like to make a comic, plural, comic books. I started one that I never finished. I made about 50 pages. It's called The Tyranny of Thoughts. This is the same title as a album I made, although it has nothing to do with it except for the character on the cover, who's also the main character in a music video I made called The Thief, which is a little bit more similar to the comic book thematically, but the comic was more like these insects were in a school being brainwashed, and it was sort of like how I don't like school, but it turned into totally random stuff, and I was just drawing one panel after the other. So I just lost interest because the plot was getting really convoluted and a little bit ridiculous. So I may finish that one up and offer it as like a free online kind of thing. But I definitely want to this year study writing and plot, writing characters and all that nonsense so I can make a readable comic that people might read. Probably start out with a bunch of short stories and figure out how to distribute that, because I would really like to tell more coherent stories with my art. So far it's mostly been about, really surreal stuff and particular moments. There have been characters and sort of a story to a limited degree, but you can't really tell too much of an epic story in a music video because the visuals are mainly to complement the music. So the story of the visuals are contingent upon the story of the lyrics. Sometimes, you can always, not follow the lyrics, but again, a music video is only a few minutes long, so you can't really have too much character development or an epic type of story in that way. So I don't know, I feel like a comic book's the next step. I'm going to take a hiatus from animation and produce other stuff that isn't going to make me want to cut my fingers off with a pair of scissors. Oh man. Sorry if this video is boring. Maybe it's relaxing. I don't know. It might be more relaxing if I wasn't talking. But then again, some people always say you should talk more. Why are you so quiet? I don't know. People are weird. Well, I feel like maybe I should take a breather, because I don't want to overwork this. Get too many lines going. So you can make too much nonsense. It's strange. The more information you put on a page, the less it communicates an idea. Sometimes an idea works best with only a few lines, like Mickey Mouse. If Mickey Mouse was any more complicated, well, he wouldn't be such a good character. In fact, that's one of the reasons why his design is so simple. It's just a few circles. Hub Iwerks could draw 700 pictures a day, and that was largely due to his design of Mickey Mouse. Perfect character for quick animation. It's a lot easier to draw a few circles than it is to draw a ton of weird lines and, you know. I'm going to try to post more videos this year. I've been doing pretty terrible on my goal so far, since it's halfway through January and this is like the second video I've posted. I feel like sometimes I should try to show in galleries. Not that I don't mean that like I think that galleries should be showing me, but I think I should try to start doing something like that. But I also become really self-conscious if I'm making something for something like a show, or trying to appeal to the tastes of the art world or any of that nonsense. I just want to make whatever I want to make, and I don't know. If a painting of a square can be art, then video games should be considered art, because that takes a lot more creativity. I think for the background, just have some soft markers. Well, no. I need some kind of element to tie this together, so it's not just a splat of randomness on a page. I'm not saying it necessarily needs a character, but it needs some kind of unifying presence. Plus, this is too similar to the other videos I did, which were just like, I don't know, organic-y, just organs of something. I should probably end this video pretty soon. Oh, this looks like a face. There's a nose, 2 eyes. mustache, a little arm. But I'm going to resist the temptation and figure out a less obvious solution. Could make these little leechy things into creatures. Kind of like well, they kind of look, the way I'm thinking of them, they look either like ghosts or the forest spirits from Princess Mononoke. I don't know. Maybe this should just be some abstract thing. And for the next video, I'll try to come up with something that tells a little bit of a story or has a central character or something that could be recognized as a character. Because I have no idea what this is. It's really strange because I don't know where these thoughts come from. I don't think like this. Like, this image has never been in my mind. But when you put your hand on on paper and just start moving it around, it's like muscle memory. Like, this is all from muscle memory somehow. This doesn't feel like it's coming from my mind. But obviously it is, because I need my mind to move my hand and to think these words. And I don't know, being alive is weird. Alright, I need to wrap this up. Yeah, I'm going to take a breather. Then we will finish this up on the next video. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching if you made it this far. And be sure to check out the other animations and music on my channel. And subscribe if you want to see more stuff. And please like the video if you like it. And yeah, all the other stuff YouTubers ask, you're supposed to ask people to do, to whatever. Anyways, if you have suggestions for future drawings, please let me know. Alright, see ya.